Everyone, and welcome to today's session of the Fattalks. Your host for today is Mark Muganga, and we are live from Speak Resort Hotel Munyonyo. Today we shall be talking about renewable energy, and hence today's session will be about the different panels that are presenting about this renewable energy conference being held here. This conference is here for 3 days, and today our esteemed guests, our esteemed community, we've decided to bring you to Munyonyo so that you can partake and have a feel of this conference, so that because it's really helpful to you. So we are now going to go live for the first panel. Then after that, we'll be back to take you back shortly. Stay tuned. Thank you.
So the question I would like to inform the ladies that what he has been talking about, the electric pressure cooker, it can cook any meal, including matoke, because I do that as well. Because at first when I had just bought it, I thought matoke, that steamed matoke cannot do well in that. It can properly, you can do it. I can teach you after here how to use it up to that level. For the sake of the question,
okay,
ladies and gentlemen, what I can say, the first thing is mindset. Mindset change. We've always been talking about so many things and we think they are not possible simply because we have that poor mindset sometimes. Not all of us, but sometimes the way we look at things. So if the government can come up and empower women groups, just like they are doing in PDM circles, if we can come up with different circles for women, specifically in renewable energy, and then there is that kind of increased opportunities so that these women can access, simply, if they can access this PDM, and sometimes they even divert it to something else. And this is something which is going to be tangible. If we can come up with organized groups at our local centers, I know all of us, whoever's attended here, can be an ambassador. How did I manage to do biogas? I sensitized the women, I grouped them, and then taught them how to save. And after saving, we got on loan and we're paying slowly by slowly. So if it was possible this side, it can also, what we need help. If we can come up together as women and we have starting capital, something small, the government can come in and other partners and add on what we have already. But just like I said, it starts with us. The government is not going to look for us when we've not yet started. So it's upon us to go back and then organize ourselves, and then we form our groups, and then we can, because some of these can be done in groups. You can imagine how it can be done in groups. We can say a group of 10 people, you first facilitate 2, and others like that as you sensitize them. And then if we can create more awareness, women need to be sensitized over the radios and other programs, training programs. So we need to emphasize, we need to organize as many training programs as possible so that we can be able to reach that grassroots women. Because without those trainings, the women will not know the benefits. Because as we sing about clean cooking, what are the benefits? We need to sensitize them. So if someone tunes on the radio and hears that, and then we go to those community meetings, we make community engagements, the government also comes in and other partners, I'm telling you, it is very possible. Just like we sensitize on other programs, this can be prioritized, if it can be taken as a priority. Because this affects all of us.
That's right.
And all of us, we benefit from clean cooking. Because at the end of it all, if you're a gentleman, you benefit. Because this affects from your child at home. If you're using the traditional way of cooking, like firewood, it affects your child, your children, your wife, yourself, and all the visitors. And at the end of it, or even the environment is affected. Because definitely when we go on cutting the trees, you know the effects. And we already are feeling them. Climate change. When we don't have trees, and definitely we cannot use firewood when we're not cutting trees. So when we sensitize communities, renewable energy is going to reach even up to that grassroots woman out there. So for me as a chapter leader, I'm a voice. Every lady out there, even if you're not a chapter leader, you're not even heading any, you can still be a voice. And it starts with you. Another example, how many of us are using charcoal? Using the traditional charcoal, the other one. The charcoal and the traditional manda, you know manda, something of that. How many of us now, all of us, have you ever imagined that you are spending much more than you could even spend on that LGP, or much more than what you could spend on biogas? I buy charcoal. I used to buy charcoal. Every 2 weeks, I would buy a sack, a full sack, which is 100,000. And sometimes I can buy, maybe when you find these people who are straight from the, maybe from their stores, they would sell at 80. But I would use within 2 weeks. Just imagine 80 or 100, 2 weeks. And yet, for me, when I'm filling my gas, because I have the biogas and this other LGP. So this ordinary gas, I filled the other one of 12 kgs, 110. And it can take me for 1.5 months, sometimes even 2 months when I'm cooking. So just imagine, for those of you who are very good at mathematics, you can calculate how cheap it is in the long run. So that one is really practical. You just say, come back home and say no to this. We are going to do ABC, and we can embrace. And when we embrace that, we can be in position also to sell to others. Because you cannot sell what you don't use.
That's right.
So all of us, I think by the end of this training, all of us, those of you who have not yet, maybe you have only one. You can have options. You have biogas, you have
LPG as well.
LPGs, and you have the pressure cookers and ethanol, and with ethanol. Job creation. We've been talking about job creation. When we are talking about now people who are into cassava planting, and already the market will go up. And we're already talking about poverty, and we have the solutions. So when we embrace clean cooking energy solutions, we're going to create more opportunities for so many other people out there.
Thank you, Esther. And as we come to Viola, hearing from you, Esther, just reminds me, last year there is a project we're undertaking in Accra, in Ghana, in collaboration with the Africa Center for Energy Policy, and it was to do with the adoption of biofuels, particularly ethanol. And one of the challenges that we found in the research we're doing, the pilot study we're doing, that of course the issue of mindset change. So these families have very, like the food that they cook with, it could be like cassava, or they call it banku, I think, yes, it's really energy intensive. You find that if you're to use electricity or if you're to use gas, it's going to take a long time. For example, it's like cooking beans, local beans. I see some statistics on the screen. Maybe before I proceed, I can invite Michael to just maybe interpret some of that data for us.
Thank you. So when Esther mentioned about the cost, I've been doing some studies. Actually, we are publishing this. I was supposed to have brought it a flyer with this, but somehow I got delayed. I didn't manage to get it done by now. But probably next week or two, I'll have it out. Now, if you look at this table here, comparing the various fuels, look at the beans. If you cook beans on the improved charcoal stove, it will take you about 2 hours to cook, and you're spending charcoal for about 3,060 shillings. I think you agree with me. When you cook beans in charcoal stove, you are going to spend about 2 kilos of charcoal. You have something about this much of charcoal, which weighs about 2 kilos. And that will be the cost. If you use electric pressure cooker, you spend only electricity of 480 shillings. That includes boiling and frying and simmering. Really, 480 shillings. When you cook it on a hot plate, it's 1,700, and on gas is quite expensive of all. Look at the Molokonya did only for charcoal and electric pressure cooker. For charcoal was about 3,000, and electric pressure cooker 530. For meat, you can see the numbers there. And for matoke, you get, I'm yet to do the one for sweet potatoes. So the numbers speak for themselves. Cooking with electricity is actually cheap when you use a special electric pressure cooker, which we have there. I think there are others for people are selling there. You can go, you should be convinced from me today, if you have some about 200, 300,000 shillings, go and pick. If you don't have, pick yourself electric pressure cooker and go with it today. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the money, you want some contacts, I can give you some contacts.
Yeah.
It is the data speak for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gas is there.
Yeah, the gas is quite expensive, but convenient, of course.
Yeah, convenient, yeah, but expensive. Okay.
But charcoal is next to gas, you can see.
Yes, competing, yeah? Very expensive as well.
People say charcoal is cheap, but it's expensive.
Yes. Yes, it is. And I think what makes people think it's cheap is because you spend,
you buy in pieces, like you buy in bits.
Yeah.
But actually, electricity that you spend watching TV is more than electricity you spend cooking.
Yeah, that's true.
For those people who watch TV from morning to evening.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. The mic will go back to Viola. I was just giving the example with, and I think this data speaks fundamentally what I was saying. That so for them, they had a mindset issue that they were spending less on charcoal, yet they were spending more in the long run because they're not aggregating this data of how much they're spending on charcoal. But also the mindset issue that they had, the other one, was to do with understanding on their end that food is tastier when you use charcoal as opposed to when you use a pressure cooker or when you use electricity or LPG, right? So I think it's a mindset issue because I don't know how the charcoal ends up in the food too. I don't know, maybe we need to do some research in that regard, but it was a major issue. They said we will not adopt the biofuels because when we cook with biofuels or with LPG or electricity, there's something lacking in the food that as opposed to, I mean, think about your matoke. If you're going to do the matoke, in the pressure cooker or, LPG.
Try to introduce what we call lease to own. Lease to own is when you give a digester to a client and they pay in installments and pay over time, maybe for a period of a year. So that's a strategy that we have introduced to tackle that challenge. And then limited access to finance. There are few banks or micro institutions that really give out loans for biogas, but even those that give out loans for biogas, the interest is really high, like 18% per annum, which is really high. And then, the procedure, the process is really hectic. You need to have collateral, blah, 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 which discourages several people from, acquiring the loans to set up a biodigester. Well, tackling that is also by lease to own, and also we are happy to have some sector players like UECCC that has come on board and is planning to offer loans to end users, women and all the other people to invest in biogas. And then the technical challenges. Biodigesters themselves are a bit hard to install, technical. So not everyone can just install, they need to go through that training. If you install it badly, it will get cracks, it will have issues. And in the long run, it will not serve you for what it was supposed to serve you. So, but we try as much as possible to train masons all over, though we do not have enough yet, but we have tried to build the capacities of masons and local artisans to be able to help. The limited availability of feedstock. A biogas plant, it feeds on organic waste, like cow dung. You feed it with cow dung or any decomposing material. It can be food waste, it can be plant remains, all that. So when you feed it into the digester, then that is when it produces gas. It's acted on by anaerobic microorganisms in absence of oxygen, and then it produces gas, which you now can tap and use for cooking. But most people, you find that maybe they set it up when they had animals, but in the long run, they sell the animals. People have different issues. They have sold the animals for fees, they have sold them to maybe pay loans and all that, and then you find the biodigester is starving. There's no animal waste for it. And then they just push it aside and not using it. But of course, we try to do some awareness, to train them, and also, if at all, when you take long minus using this biogas plant, maybe 2 years, then it will require you to empty it and service it and do some repairs. So we have also trained people, put them in place to be able to do those kinds of repairs and maintenances. And then we have this other biggest problem, which is competition from other energy sources. He was talking about charcoal and firewood. People in the rural areas would rather look for firewood than invest in biogas. They're like, we still have charcoal, firewood, we still have firewood, we can easily get it. So you find it is hard for them to invest or even appreciate the biodigester technology. But we are happy about the presidential ban on charcoal in some places, and maybe if it reaches in other places, people will start taking biogas seriously. And then we have limited availability of skilled technicians. Yes, there are not as many as you can imagine. Right now, under the ABC project, Biogas Solutions Uganda Limited is working on the ABC project. It is ABC project is African Biodigester Component from 2021 to 2025, and a consortium of SNB and JZ and MEMT, that is Ministry of Water and Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. So we normally have that challenge. We do not have enough skilled technicians. Then I'll talk about the mindset that has been talked about a lot. People still have that mindset that I cannot steam matoke on biogas. And then there's this biogas from biotoilets, especially in schools and for communities. People will be like, how will I cook food and eat it, yet it is run on a biotoilet? Imagine that. Not, forgetting that biogas is actually methane gas, which has nothing to do with the toilet. It's not smelly at all. It is gas that is smell-free. Actually, when you get that bioslurry, and you power in the toilets, it will control all the smell in the toilets. So with biogas, you have, the environment is safe, clean, and that good sanitation at home. But it's really hard to change the mindsets of people. But as BS Fuel, we are trying as much as possible to do the awareness and change people's mindsets.
Thank you. A round of applause. Please do appreciate with me. Virus has been very articulate in that sense. And I think it's very clear, and in Uganda where we've been having a waste crisis, the whole conversation on waste to energy is very timely. But of course it involves a lot of mindset change to know you can tap into this energy from the waste and use it for something more productive than that. Okay, so I'm going to come back to Michael. Michael from UNDP, you've already interfaced with him. So Michael, I know that UNDP has a very strong mandate when it comes to gender equality, but also renewable energy. And so the question to you would be that how can we do better to enhance the participation of women in the renewable energy subsector, but also how can we be able to ensure that the milestones we've hit so far, especially you gave examples on the different figures we have in the energy sector, but how can we scale that to ensure there are more women who are involved, not just involved, but meaningfully participating?
Thank you. Before I answer your question, maybe allow me to ask some
It's okay.
one, two questions to the audience. I'm seeing a lot of young people here. My question to you, the young men. I guess some of you are not yet married, young men and women. Just to ask, are you planning to marry in the next few months or maybe 1 or 2 years? Who is in that category? Yes. All of you are married. I'm seeing so many young. Are you married? When are you going to marry? In a few years. What about you? Okay. Who is going to attend wedding in the next few weeks? Maybe this weekend or December? Yes? Okay. She talked about financing.
Yeah.
And I'm asking that because of financing of clean energy solutions. I always talk about innovative financing, and one of the innovative financing that I talk about is wedding gifts. Sometimes they're taking huge wedding gifts, maybe some people even take cars or whatever. Can you gift your in-laws just an electric pressure cooker, which is just about 200,000 shillings? Or you build for them a biogas solution, about 3 million? About 3 million. Just as one, you just say, I just want to change your life. Forget about these gomeses, forget about these cows. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are innovative financing. You don't need to go to the banks. Okay? So collecting all this money, sometimes we are taking sofas, we are taking whatever. No, you tell them, you negotiate, there's negotiation. Say instead of taking all this accumulation of gomeses and whatever, let me give you electric pressure. Okay. So how can we empower women and strengthen them? Yeah. So basically, yes, the capacity building we have talked about is very important.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are still here at Speak Resort Munyonyo for the Renewable Energy Conference, and that was our first segment for today's Fat Talks. We are taking a short break, but we shall be back with our second segment of the Fat Talks as we delve into more discussion with the second panel. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Smart 24, driving business.
Okuba omusinguzi oyine kuba stede nka Tiger. Konka ko origura amashita na MTN Momo okusingura kworobi. Kozesa Momo app ningashi imata *165 *3#. Teka Momo merchant code, teka Momo hendo gwesente, teka Momo pin, oshashuri. Congratulations! emotoka yawe shemerirwe kandi watunga omugisha gwo kusingura mobile money na MTN Momo.
3 inspired souls brought together by love are set on a life-changing journey.
This is your life, Mackenzie. This is no longer a dream.
It's just something about Mackenzie.
I'll never marry you.
Your position does not allow you to break work relationship rules.
Where choices change everything. Crossroads, weekdays at 8 p.m. on Power Magic Prime. DSTV channel 148, GoTV channel 303.
Tactics zengene okukozako zonna yazijja mu Shaolin Soccer. Ijaje kufumya nyama nga banaiba bali kumukene. Nafumuna naye kugenda leeta eminga nzibunya. Chali! Tudeno!
I went to British Columbia, I went to Nevada, I went to Pennsylvania, I went to Boston and came back with $10.
Ate mayitirivu gamususseeko.
Ndowooza abaana owulidde beetonze. Olina kyogamba? Alina amagezi ategeere.
Professor.
We love you. We are proud of you.
Oli mukyala munna bizinesi era oyagala bizinesi yeekulaakulane, gavumenti ya Uganda ekuleetedde ssente za Grow era nga weewola okuva ku bukadde buna okutuuka ku bukadde 2 n'osasula mu bbanga lya myaka 2 ate nga gw'asasula mu budde olina mukisa ddala. Eri abakyala abanoonyi b'obubuddamu nammwe abaliko obulemu, enteekateeka eno egenda kubakolako mu ngeri ey'enjawulo. Okumanya ebisingawo, tuukirira Post Bank, Equity Bank, DFCO, Centenary Bank, Finance Trust Bank ne Stanbic Bank. Oba genda ku mukutu gwaffe ogwa www.grow.go.ug oba okujja ku ofiisi za PSFU ku Kyaddondo Road e Nakasero ku kizimbe kya Trust Tower omwaliiro ogusooka, oba okuweereza obubaka bwa WhatsApp ku nooti 762 3 nooti 4961. Omukisa guno gw'abakyala bonna okwetooloola eggwanga era ng'enteekateeka ya Grow evujjirirwa banka y'ensi yonna n'eteekebwa mu nkola minisitule y'ekikula ky'abantu ne Private Sector Foundation Uganda.
Grow, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda, the taste of Uganda, yeah,
Smart 24, driving business.
UCCC. The terms, like I mentioned, difficult as it may be to believe, but it will be that you go your national ID and your contribution, and the thing is released to you. We will not ask you to pass through your LC, and no, that business is not going to be there. We intend that the benefit is to you outside of clean cooking, because you're business women, not so. You're not going to deal in only one thing. You are entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurship is not about only one thing. Look out for all the other things that we are doing, including things like refrigeration, including things like refrigeration. You're going to buy fridges, you can support your business, selling your chilled drinks and things like that. So look out, there's a lot that is going to come in terms of communication and awareness, and I'm sure you'll be very happy cooking with the clean technologies, but also making money. Yeah. Thank you very much. I see there are quite a number of questions, but I'm not too sure. Maybe a couple of them, and then
Strictly 3 questions because lunch here is served between 1 and 2, so we don't want to miss out on it. So we shall take 3 questions.
Thank you very much. I'm Sylvia Narumaga, the voice of rural women. Before we went for breakfast, you talked of the financial institutions you are working with, the housing finance, the Centenary Bank, and Post Bank, and the rest. And you talked about the percentages of borrowing women. But now my concern is, at times we are seeing some challenges with these institutions. They don't table these products, or they don't share this information, because they have their own products also. And I believe we being the champions, the clean cooking champions, we need people to get money so that they can come and buy. How are we going to do it best to see that every woman gets this information from these or other institutions? Because it has been a challenge. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. You have given us something that has tickled us. But my question is, how do I walk to Ugas and I pay? Supposing I didn't know the original price, how would I know it has been reduced? Because we have that mentality of, you know what I'm talking about. Number 2, when it comes to the bank, I'm very disappointed, but I love being a woman. When you go there, they tease you, or sometimes they don't tell you the truth. Until when your papers are all through, they will say, we are deducting this, you know this. And then also, they don't tell us, even if you comprehensively insure your loan, they don't tell you which insurance is going to do that. They don't. Yes, I want to accept her. Information are always 80%. The 20% they hide. Lastly, these things of collateral. A woman doesn't have security. I want to build myself to buy my own properties. And sometimes even these husbands of ours don't allow us to buy properties. Now, how are you going to make sure that this woman, me here, I have access to the bank? In fact, for me, like Equity Bank is here. I've told them I'm not going to go there. I went to Post Bank. They told me, you need to bring. Why land title? For what? I'm a banker. I bank money in that bank, and you ask me for land title. This is very sad. You need to work on this, because it's messing us up, the women. But one day, as I said, I will repeat, we'll mobilize and you'll see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santa. For me, I allow her to buy her property. Be brief, please.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. I'm called Julius Caramiro. The discussions are very interesting. I don't differ much from the views or the concerns given. One is what my senior there has just talked about. We need to know the original prices. 2, the banks, what are the conditions for getting these products? The loans you're talking about. For example, we have agricultural loans in all these other banks. But your bank shall never talk about this because the rate is 12% and their own product is 18-20%. And they put a lot of conditions. What are the conditions? And 2, if they do allow us to get these products, what is the rate that you actually agreed on that they give these credits to us? Because otherwise you will agree 10% and they'll still say it is 15% because we are not in the know. So we need to understand clearly. And then the terms and conditions, what is the requirement? Otherwise, if it is again land title and all these other things, then there is no business. In conclusion, it is good that government is coming up with these subsidies, but I think going forward, you can engage in a better discussion. I think if we are going to have the results that we all want to achieve, the subsidy should be more in, can't government sacrifice VAT and these other taxes on, for example, all these products when they are coming into the country, like gas and whatever it is. Because if you're giving me a subsidy on purchasing the kit, the long-term process is me refilling the gas, which is quite more expensive. If it is going to be reliable in a country like Rwanda, they have, done away with everything to do with gas. That's how gas is now more cheaper than other sources like charcoal and trees. Otherwise, if you're just saying we are banning the use of charcoal and you don't have an alternative, or the alternative is 3 times more expensive. I will go get this kit, but I can't refill. But if you drop the taxes on that side, then it is going to become very cheaper for me. Even if charcoal is there, I want to go for it, and therefore the dealers will get discouraged. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Before you answer, we have a representation from Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Only one, please.
Yes, good afternoon, members. I'm called Aisha Binti Abdu. I represent Muslim women in Northern Uganda. As our religion concern about the interest, we Muslim women, we are left behind for so long. We have government program, but the interest in the government of the money really don't allow us to get the money. I'm asking, how are you going to help us as Muslim women? Secondly, as a woman with disability. In this room, I'm seeing, maybe I'm alone, I don't know. Women with disability has challenges. Most of the time, we receive men at night, but early morning you will not get a man. But that man has left some fruit with you. And that fruit you have to care about it, him or her. And we don't have a land. How are we going to benefit in this program? Please, can the government come up to help women with disability? Because in the bank you go, they will ask for you the land title, maybe next of kin, and our next of kin is just at midnight. Early morning you will not see. And as left for you, kid, you have to take care of them. Please, my humble request. Thank you.
Reasonable cost to consumers. For the problem that you have in the village, in Amul, where you're born, we may not be able to help you directly today, although there are things that we are doing that may take us there, but for today it's not something we may be able to solve. But for the power problems that you're facing in Gulu, which is unreliable in an industrial context, for that we do have solutions where we provide we provide industrial scale solar solutions that can put reliable power to the grid. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Let me give you a chance. Let's start for
reasonable cost to consumers. For the problem that you have in the village, in Amul, where you're born, we may not be able to help you directly today, although there are things that we are doing that may take us there, but for today it's not something we may be able to solve. But for the power problems that you're facing in Gulu, which is unreliable in an industrial context, for that we do have solutions where we provide we provide industrial scale solar solutions that can put reliable power to the grid. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Let me give you a chance. Let's start for Eric. He's providing solutions. Elizabeth, you want to?
We are developing industrial hubs for women across the country, and we'd like to ask you to keep us in mind so that we develop products together Not only that, we are business women, and therefore we generate the productive use to run your off-grid solutions. And if we think outside the box, there are ways in which we can work together. And I like the way he is nodding, because he will support to ensure that as we acquire the productive use, he will discount it. So we're looking forward to having a deeper conversation around this going forward. Thank you. Just very briefly, because I appreciate that we all are looking forward to a health break. We've been seated for quite some time, and we will have a session after this to take us now through the business aspects. As you will, good afternoon, good morning. As you will, we have partnered with a number of technology providers who have been pre-qualified by UECCC. You know about UGAS. A number of you here are already distributors. You're making money out of this. And that is one opportunity where the discount will come down. Bukona is on the ethanol side of things. They will be presenting in the afternoon. The electric pressure cooker and solar, Red Apple is doing both electric pressure cooker and then combined with solar to solve the challenge for where there's inconsistent supply. On the biogas, we don't yet have a consistent partner, but we're working on that, especially after Viola's presentation this morning. But we have lined up, and then we'd like to very much thank UECCC. They have given us a credit line through Rentco, one of our companies, to finance these solutions. So after this panel, we're now going to go into that nitty-gritty. How do we access this technology? How do we become distributors? And we're actually going to sign up. I'm hoping we're going to close a few deals. And since we have UECCC in the office, in the room today, really there's no reason why, if we have our deposit, we can't go away with some cook stoves and start converting the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So you are saying I will walk away with something when I'm going back to my village in Simbizi, right? There should be no reason. Okay. This is a mature question. What time would you like to go for the break? Now. And what time would you like to come back after the break? Okay. Who has a standard watch so that we can follow that one?
Thank you very much for all these questions. Very valid questions. Some I am able to answer, others are outside of my mandate, and I think I'll direct them to where they are supposed to be answered. But let me speak to those that I'm able to. Regarding awareness, that was the first question. That question basically addresses even the one about product prices. How do we know that even these prices are the ones that, you know, they have been slashed by half? Okay, so we have signed with these banks that we have spoken about, but we did not go out yet to publicize because we needed people who have already benefited, people to have actually tested part of this money. We just gave it out. We started giving it out recently to the likes of Centenary Housing Finance. We are also going to be dealing with the MFIs that we have spoken about. But in the coming month, you're definitely going to see a lot happening in terms of driving awareness. No, it is difficult to drive awareness when there's no one who has said, I have actually benefited from it. So as I speak right now, if you talk about Centenary, there are over 600 people that have now benefited already from the facility that we have given. Yeah. So you're going to see the publicity now begin on which financial institutions we are working with, which leasing companies we are working with. That is already now something that is in the works. For the products, and I would like Mama Santa to listen, and the gentleman there. So all these companies, we did a survey before we onboarded them. So every company, for every product, we have a price. And the system on which they are going to record these prices, we have already captured their information there. So if something was 100,000 shillings, there is no way they can sell it at 120,000. If they happen to do, our system will not accept, okay? Then we have also got a verification agent that makes calls to individuals to ask, you bought this gas at, say, how much did you buy it at? You say 150. And yet we know that it will actually be sold at 100,000. That company will be cancelled from the program, meaning that they will not be able to sell, because if you're selling your gas at 150 or 200, yet everyone is selling at 100, is anyone going to buy yours? No. So they are all locked into the prices that they had already set. So we have those prices, they will have to display them, even their price listing and all the artwork they will be using. They have to share it with us, indicating price slashed by 50%, okay? So there's going to be transparency. We are also going to put those on our website. If you happen to check and you want to see, you can actually see all the prices. I need to go through this quickly. So for the banks, we provide them with the funding. Unfortunately, we did not get into their kitchen to define how they change their processes. So that question I'll direct to who? The banker, to explain why do they change the processes. That includes things like collateral requirements. That's the beauty about leasing companies, because now whatever you're leasing becomes the collateral. Assuming you're buying a cook stove, they will not ask you for additional collateral. They'll tell you, okay, that cook stove is there, collateral. So they are flexible ways. If this person is not satisfying you, you look for the alternative. The rates at which the lending is done is, again, we tell the banks that you cannot go beyond a particular rate. Not every bank gets at the same rate. Even us, when we lend the banks, we give them, some will be maybe at 5%, others may be at 6 or what percent, because when we look at them, they're not the same weight. Lending to Stanbic is not the same as lending to another bank. I'll not name which other banks, but I would say Stanbic because Stanbic is the biggest bank in Uganda and it is the most solid. So I can say the price you lend to Stanbic is not the same price you lend to a bank that is struggling. All right? So rates, we have given them caps. Every 3 months, the banks have got to report to us who they have lent, and they give us the interest rate at which they have lent. Then we go to the bank to check and also to call the customer to confirm. So we put in a lot of measures to ensure there is transparency and that there is no loss of trust. And then for the Muslim ladies, I think we're not particularly able to address the matter around disability, but I'm sure the hosts have said they will address it. You will have said they will address it. And then lastly, the matter on policy and taxes. I know right now there's a discussion by the ministry around reviews in the sector. Some things have actually had taxes removed for them. I think some of those that are related to solar, either some components on the solar systems, but aspects like gas, those can also be brought up. And you're here at the forum. It would be very good to bring it when the policy discussions are happening, because there are also sessions around policy. I'm not the right person to speak about policy at the moment, but yes. I beg to leave right now, but I thank you so much for being a very good audience, and we look forward to you benefiting from what has been put in place by the government of Uganda through UCCC, and great success in your businesses. Thank you.
Thanks. A round of applause for Mr. Ochanya. The questions around collateral and ETC will be answered by Jackie. Jackie is here. Mr. Ochanya is at the Ministry of Energy.
Why can't you put like a fixed percentage that will be an earning for the distributors? Because this extra money that you expect to charge from the customer, may not be a guarantee. But when there is a sure deal that when I get a pressure cooker from you, maybe I have 1% as my pay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to these beautiful people. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Maureen. I work with EcoStove. They are the solar stoves that uses volcanic rocks to cook and solar system. So we even have peat pots, also pressure cookers that are designed to cook any kind of food. Like we Ugandans, we have food maybe some pressure cookers doesn't have to cook in, but ours are designed to cook all kinds of food we eat here. So I have a sample of my stove behind there. I think whoever is moving out will have a look at it. I'll be standing behind there. I've carried the stove, which is a full package, a panel, a battery. It goes with 2 lights, a charging system on it, a stove itself, and rocks to use for 2 years. So the rocks are reusable.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our show. We've been at Speak Resort Munyonyo for the Renewable Energy Conference. We hope that you enjoyed the show. We hope that you enjoyed the panels, and we hope that they were insightful to you and you take a step in the right forward to using renewable energy so that we can save our environment and save our country. For your host today, I was Mark Muganga. He's still at Speak Resort, and I wish you a blissful evening.
Smart 24, driving business.
Without infrastructure and energy, a continent that will be integrated in terms of trade and logistics will not be a reality.
If you want to transform your economy from primary dependence on raw material to manufacturers, you need energy. Whether you're talking about trade, whether you're talking about industrialization, those things will not happen if we don't have good infrastructure.